Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Guys, our topic today is about the taking of ownership risk in Tawaruq. Will eliminate outcome certainty. So as we know that outcome certainty is the benefit coming from riba, coming from the riba loan. The interest-bearing loan will create a debt comprising of the loan plus interest, and by virtue of the loan contract, the customer or the borrower have a debt obligation to pay off this debt over the tenure of the facility, the failure of which will implicate litigation and eventual bankruptcy if the borrower fail to settle the debt. So this Tawaruq is attractive since the short-term holding of the CPO on the banking book does not trigger capital requirement. So why I'm saying this is simply because the Tawaruq, as you know, does not use, in Tawaruq there is no buy and sell of the consumer goods that the customer desire to own, but the Tawaruq will use a proxy al-mal or proxy asset to facilitate the provision of liquidity. And this transaction of CPO through the master purchase agreement and the master sale agreement is only a short-term transaction. Sometimes it can be an instantaneous transaction, or sometimes it can involve time delay between the MPA and the MSA. So within this time delay, the price of the CPO may change. So the price of the CPO in the MPA, as we see earlier, was assumed at $1,500 per ton. So if the MSA is to be conducted 1 hour or 2 hours after the MPA, then there is a possibility of CPO prices going up or coming down. So this kind of uncertainty will frustrate the ability of the contract to guarantee full repayment of the debt comprising of the facility amount plus the profit margin, and also the inability to provide full supply of the liquidity as defined in the facility agreement. So this short-term holding of CPO, I think technically, if it is within hours or within a few days, then it does not trigger capital requirement, right? So we can check this. I presume that in the banking book, if we are to hold financial asset, whether it is bond or stocks, over I think less than 7 days, we can check. I presume that there is no capital requirement, but if it is more than a week holding, then the bank will have to hold some capital against that asset holding on the balance sheet. So that issue of capital requirement would be the so-called the upside of the Tawaruq offering. It's good for the bank. The bank will not be under pressure of the capital adequacy requirement. However, as I said earlier, if the bank is to conduct a true sale, then the sale of the good on deferred payment basis, if it is done based on MPO, Murabaha by purchase order, if the bank wants to do a true sale, meaning that the true sale would be a sale that is vanilla, plain vanilla Sharia compliant, because it is a true sale, there will be no contentious issue, and it will be simply fully Sharia compliant, very Islamic, because it is a cost plus murabaha. But the downside would be the harsh capital charges imposed on these goods before the resale on creditor. And the capital charges, as we know, is 15% multiplied by the asset value. So the reason why Tawaruq is attractive is because it does not have to be, to be under a stressful situation, because Tawaruq does not involve the holding of the durable goods on their balance sheet, right? So if we are talking about true sale, then if we are talking about home financing, the bank will have to put the house on their balance sheet. If it is equipment financing, the bank will have to place this machinery on their balance sheet. How long that will be taking place? Then, if it is longer than a week, then there will be capital charges, high capital charges. So with the Tawaruq available as an alternative to the real sale contract or real sale product, then why not use the Tawaruq? Because the capital requirement would be almost zero because of the short-term nature of the MPA and MSA. So the time lapse between the two contracts will be very minimal. Few hours and 1 day, so no capital charges. And for that reason, many banks have migrated into this Tawaruq domain. And as I said earlier, that the high capital charges is triggered due to the taking of ownership risk when bank places the goods on their balance sheet, which poses danger to the deposit fund if the goods loses value, right? So we're still talking about why is it that bank do not want to, buy the goods from the supplier and sell the goods to the customer on credit, as what we see in the narrative of Islamic finance and banking, buy and sell. But there is no buy and sell of the goods. It is only buy and sell of the CPO that is acting as a proxy to the actual goods that the consumer desire to purchase. So because of the fact that when these goods are put on the banking book, which is dangerous to the bank because the time, the holding period may be long, and during that period, the good may be severely affected by economic condition, obsolescence, deflation, and all that. So in order to ensure that the bank is able to preserve the value of the goods, or to protect eventual losses, the banking regulators require banks to take responsibility of ownership risk, right? So once the bank take these goods on their balance sheet, as any business will do, if you are the legal owner of the goods, then you got to record that on your balance sheet. So does the bank, and what the central bank want to see is that is some assurance that the bank will be able to take responsibility if there is a loss event, right? If there's a loss event, meaning that banking regulators require banks to take responsibility of ownership risk by placing their own money that is capital against ownership risk, right? So this is the issue at hand. Why is it that Islamic Bank have moved on into the Tawaruq domain that has led us to see this Tawaruq concentration risk, ranging from 70% to 90%, which is very, very, very strange because, as we know, we talk about credit concentration risk or sectoral concentration risk. Usually, the number will be like 25%. Any concentration that goes above 25% is a red flag. So that the stop limit, will be the so-called benchmark to ensure that bank are not going over, that red line. But we see in Tawaruq that this contract concentration risk, meaning that the Tawaruq concentration risk has gone overboard, and for that reason, not only that we are worried about the nature of the contract that may be challenged, by the customer who may be desperate under a default event, bring the bank to court to question them with regards to the nature of Tawaruq structure that was arranged for them. So customer, desperate customer may use any kind of means to protect themselves against eventual bankruptcy, because they will know that how bank will become very unforgiving when it comes to default and recovery. Okay guys, I'll see you again on the next video. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.